Man, I tell you, when I mentioned yesterday in my last video that 304s indeed have dignity, boy, I tell you, a lot of y'all fellas, man, got y'all's panties in a bunch. Why you got panties on is beyond me. That ain't my business. But I know you got them on, and I know they was in a bunch when I said that 304s have dignity. So for those of y'all who disagree with my statement that 304s have dignity, we gonna talk about it. But first, wipe your feet off at the door when you step into a pimp's domain. Let's go.
Bitch, you want all this pimping you can't afford. Perform like a punk, but wanna win his reward. Some suckers give you points, but bitch, you never scored. If you ain't paying pimping, then bitch, you getting ignored. Okay. I'm so sick of these.
Man, I tell you, I don't know what it is. I guess you square guys. I can't even talk about the square women because I ain't even really see no square women refuting my statement. But, you know, it seems like you guys think that, you know, only, I guess, square people can have dignity and people in the streets can't have dignity, and 304s specifically and especially can't have dignity. Well, since we talking about dignity, let's look up the definition of dignity. Pride in oneself, a sense of pride in oneself, or self-respect. So you mean to tell me that 304s is just impossible for them to have self-respect? It's just impossible for 304s to have pride in themselves? Man, that's ridiculous. If you just think about it, get out your feelings, get in your mind, apply some game, catch this game that the pimping is kicking at you, and just make sense of it. I know a lot of y'all dudes like getting emotional, but you know what I mean? As a man, at some point in time, you gotta let logic kick in. And if you let logic kick in and sensibility kick in, you'll understand what I'm saying. But see, it is a sense of self-respect that makes 304s require condoms and safety and protection whenever they get active with a trick. You know, people in the game that consider themselves 304s but ain't really 304s, you know, they might not have dignity, but we talking about actual 304s, right? Who ain't just talking about it, they walking about it, they actually living it, and they stand for something. Yeah, you know, it's self-respect, it's dignity that makes a 304 require condoms, right? And then when it comes to pride, a sense of pride in oneself, yeah, that's why 304s do their best to dress to impress when they step out. You know, they want to step out right. You know, their appearance is up to par. They dressing classy. They carrying themselves in a professional manner. They dealing with clients in a professional manner. You know, they're not, you know, making a mockery of themselves. They're not making a mockery of the game. And if they represent a household of some ism, they not making a mockery of their household. You know, they conduct themselves with class when they out in the public's eye in front of people, so that they don't make a, you know, a mockery of the game or themselves or their household. It's dignity that, you know, prompts a 304 to do that and carry herself in that way. You know, it's just funny to me, man, how all these guys jump out the window and don't even think about what they're saying before they say it. And I know how social media is. A lot of y'all don't know how to act with the power of voicing your opinion. And a lot of y'all don't, you know, you get so out of control when it comes to that. You just type shit and you don't think about what you're saying before you type shit, right? But if you think about it, man, 304s, you know, definitely have dignity about themselves. And, you know, dignity is not specific to walks of life or lifestyles or ethnicities or genders or sex or whatever the case may be, male, female. Hey man, it's possible for anyone, in spite of whatever lifestyle they live, to have dignity. I know a lot of y'all probably don't think the pimping got dignity, but you know, shit, the pimping is banked up on dignity. And this is another reason why a lot of 304s have dignity, because they under the leadership of the pimping. And a 304 that's under the leadership of the pimping and has surrendered herself fully to the pimping, you know, she's gonna be fully in tune with the pimping, and she's gonna hold the pimping to a high regard. With that being the case, she's gonna reflect him in a lot of ways, and having dignity about herself is gonna be one of those ways, right? Because on the real, it's a requirement for a 304 to have some dignity if she messing with some pimping. I know you squares is listening to this shit, and you know this is a foreign language to you, and you just don't understand what a pimp is saying right now, or you can't believe your eyes and your ears, you know, that the pimping is saying what he's saying right now. But it's a fact, it is the truth. And you know, no matter how much you may disagree with it, that doesn't change the facts. So, you know what I mean, you might as well accept it. Or the beautiful thing about life is that you have the power of choice, and you can choose not to tune into this pimping. You could choose to tune into something else. But guess what? You intrigued by this pimping. That's why you tuned into the pimping and listening to the pimping and soaking up game and learning from the pimping, right? So if you're gonna be here, man, hey, I guess, hey, if you want to do that, you could do that too. You know, a pimp ain't gonna fight fire with fire in that sense. If y'all want to condemn everything that the pimp say, hey, it's all good. You still tuning in, and you know, by you tuning in, you promoting the pimping. Little do you know. So it's all good, man. Stay tuned in. Just make sure you hit that subscribe button and hit the bell while you're tuning in, so that you can get notifications and come on to the pimping's videos and do all the hating that you want from the comment section. You know, all the slander that you want, all the, you know, punching the air in the comment section, whatever you want to do, man, it's there for you. You dig? Pimping is still gonna be here kicking game, and it is what it is. But I just had to say that, man. You know, 304s definitely have dignity, and you know, you got to understand this too. Some 304s don't come from, you know, traumatic backgrounds in their childhood. Some 304s come from good families, and you know, they were raised right, and they were, you know, raised to have some dignity about themselves. You know, they just decided to get into the game for one reason or another, right? But that doesn't demean them. That doesn't take away from who they are and what was put in them throughout their lives, right? And even for the 304s who do come from traumatic backgrounds, you know, foster care, abuse, all that different types of stuff, you know, you still can have influences throughout all of that that teach you to have some dignity about yourself, right? Even if you coming up in the ghetto and you living off food stamps and living in the projects and all that type of stuff, you know, there are still people in those environments who have dignity and can impart that energy or that mindset or that outlook to a young person coming up in that environment. So yeah, man, don't think that just because, you know, you was square and you punch a clock and, you know, you was raised the way that you were raised and you lived the way that you lived, that only people who can relate to you and people that you can't relate to can't have dignity, and only people you can relate to can have dignity. Hey, dignity ain't specific to you squares. You know what I mean? So don't be mad at the pimping, don't be mad at the game, and just come to grips with the facts. And a lot of y'all trick asses, you know what I mean? If you keep it 100, because I know a lot of y'all talking shit is tricks, because, you know, a lot of tricks hate the pimping. Shout out to the tricks that you know, got love for the pimping, because a professional trick understands that, you know, the best 304s to deal with are the ones that's being sent out there by some pimping, right? But to you tricks that hate the pimping, I know that's why y'all in the comment section talking shit. But hey, man, if you really think about it, man, the best experiences that you have when you tricking on them 304s, man, you might not want to admit that shit, but they're with 304's that have dignity about themselves. And guess who 304's that got some dignity about themselves is being sent out there by? The pimpin'. You dig? But let that marinate on your mind one time. Freeze is it. Go ahead, put some of this good old love in your body like so. And of course, as always, long live the incomparable Sinful to P. We out. Dig this. I've been stroking relentless to get waves like this. I spoke into existence for her to pay like this. In the trenches on a day like this, traffic consistent, and so I have to insist that she relay my chips. It's a trap with her name on it and my game on it. Any forces coming against this game, shame on it. Standing on my pimpin' from day one and remain on it. It carried me through every terrain and I gained on it. Experience joy and pain on it, sustained on it.
But getting back to this game that I never left.
Baby, yeah, where you been?